What's going on, guys? I'm TieFly85.
And I'm T-Rec87, and we're here to bring you this week's gaming news. So let's get started. So first off, January is a notoriously slow month for gaming news and gaming releases in general, just because, like I've said this before, but everybody's recovering from the holidays. But some interesting news has come out this week, just as far as games in general goes, and these were a couple stories I found to be very interesting. The first one I want to talk about is Assassin's Creed Rogue, and this actually came out on the last-gen consoles. I don't know if any of you guys remember, but this released alongside Assassin's Creed Unity. And basically what happened was Assassin's Creed Unity came out and everybody at this point already had an Xbox One or a PS4, and Assassin's Creed Unity didn't get great reviews. It was a new engine, it was kind of clunky, kind of janky. I played it, it was fun, but it had some definite issues. And Assassin's Creed Rogue released on the last gen consoles and got amazing reviews and was, just like the stellar game. I never got a chance to play it because I, didn't have a 360 anymore. So a lot of people missed out on that experience, and apparently, this is supposed to be a very good Assassin's Creed, but it is coming out on current gen consoles. It has been slated for release on March 20th. So just one of those things I am super excited for. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I don't know about you, Typhlo. Are you into Assassin's Creed at all?
Oh yeah, no, I love Assassin's Creed, and one of the really awesome things is the original Ubisoft Sofia is actually handling the remake of this. So if any of you know that company, they actually they did all the originals. So I think it's actually going to be pretty awesome. I'm really excited, and I definitely will be picking that game up.
Yeah, and this story does this game does tie into the story of Assassin's Creed Unity. A little bit, like some of the characters from that game are in Unity, but you get to play as an assassin called Shay Patrick McCormick. I'm assuming he's Irish. It's just a guess, but it's supposedly a very fun game. I'm very excited for that. So I thought that was a pretty big announcement. In other news, the next thing I want to move on to is Destiny 2 and Bungie has released a massive, just a blog post on their weekly update detailing what they're going to do with the game to make it to where the fans want to play it again, because if any of you guys do follow Destiny, the community's been in an uproar for like months, and it's just getting louder and louder and louder. They're just revolting at this point, and nobody wants to play because the game's not rewarding. There's so many things wrong with the game. It's not the game that the players want. And Bungie, it looks like from their announcement, has finally decided that, like, yes, we do want to be more communicative with our audience. We want to tell you what's going on, and they posted their plans for basically the entire rest of this year, what they are trying to do to fix the game, which normally they only announce things when it's about to come out, when it's all nailed down. And they're willing to communicate this stuff just by telling us, hey, this stuff may change, but this is what we want to do. One of the biggest highlights I saw from that update is 6 vs 6 Crucible is coming back, and I am super excited about that, just because the Crucible doesn't feel the same in Destiny 2 as it did Destiny 1, because the 4 vs 4 just, it encouraged team shooting, and I feel like it's not fun. And so I'm super excited for 6v6 to come back. Also, they're actually going to finally have a ranked playlist, or like a ranked option, like a ranked mode. And what that it's going to be is that, have you ever played like Overwatch, Typhly?
No, I played Overwatch.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Overwatch has like a ranked system where you move up in tiers. Like there's like the gold, platinum, silver, bronze tiers, and basically you get matched with people like in those tiers, and you just try to climb through the ladders. So they're actually going to be introducing this into Destiny 2, and there's going to be 2 different types of modes, and I think it was like Glory and Valor are going to be the 2 different gameplay types, and one of them is going to be basically you just climb through ranks just through completing matches, and you gain more points for winning. But the other one, I believe, which is the Valor one, was your ranking is going to be solely based on wins and losses. And so not a ton of details yet. Like I don't know if you're going to get like special things for like moving up in ranks or anything like that, but this is something that the competitive community has wanted for a long time, and so that's super exciting. I used to be a huge PvP player for Destiny myself. Like that was like what carried me through when there was no content. Was every month I'd come back for like Iron Banner. I would like try and fail horribly at like, Trials of Osiris. And now the community's just not there for that anymore. So hopefully this is going to revive that. And so that is super exciting. And also, one of the other big complaints with Destiny has been the end game content. Like there's no nothing to grind for at the end of the game. Like in Destiny 1, you used to be able to get like special like ships and sparrows and shaders and stuff from like doing like the raid or doing just like special events, right? And now, as you saw, like in Destiny 2, everything's based on their stupid token system. So like everything you do, you have to have tokens for, or you get like the bright engrams, and it all goes through the Eververse, their microtransaction store, to get like cosmetic things like the ships and stuff. And so they had removed like all of that from the players in the game, and they're going to be reintroducing that out into the game, which I think is super cool. You know, I'll have a reason to want to do Iron Banner or Crucible or whatever, and the chance to be able to get more in-game rewards, because it was like such a big deal back in the day, dude. Like you used to like, you'd be playing and you'd like be playing like the raid, and then like doing like say like Vault of Glass, and then like you'd beat the Templar boss or whoever, and then like all of a sudden it would show like the drops of what everybody got, and you would get like Fatebringer or some crazy weapon or something like that, you know. And like it was one of those moments where like everybody in your team would freak out because you got like this cool gun, and it's not there in Destiny, because what do you get at the end of every activity? Tokens. And then you get to go redeem those tokens, and so the excitement has been lost, I think. And so them introducing things back into the endgame rewards is going to be really cool, I think. They're going to be expanding on like the mod system. They're going to have like Masterwork armor. There's a ton of stuff. It's all in Bungie's post on Bungie.net. If you guys want to read it, if you guys follow Destiny, you can read the whole thing. I covered, I think, the big points, but it's worth a look. And I think throughout the next year, hopefully this is going to turn back into the game that we want it to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's actually really exciting to see, like, here's another example of everybody coming together like they did with EA, but now obviously doing it here with Destiny 2. All the gaming community coming together and actually making it so the publisher has to change their game, and they're actually listening to the community. So I mean, it sounds like everybody's going to get what they want, and they're definitely doing a course correction to make up for their mistakes. And I love the fact that they are removing the paywall and making it so the bright engram, I mean, you know, bringing back that whole system. I think it's going to definitely be huge and better for the players. And hopefully, like you said, it brings people back. Like, I really hope it does.
I do too, man. I just hope it's like not too late for Destiny, and I don't think it is. It's one of those things where like I feel bad because like I get really mad at Bungie because I'm like just like, what are you guys doing with this game? You know, like, what is wrong with you? But at the same time, I know the people that like made this game, like the developers, the designers, they all love this game. You know, they put their hearts and souls into this game, and they wanted to make a great game. It's just they're bound by certain things, like, oh, well, we got to make money. You know, we gotta still have to fulfill, like, you know, what Activision wants, because they're kind of indebted to Activision for basically loaning them the money in the first place to make these games, for being the publisher. And so I'm glad they are changing it, and I'm sure it's kind of a slippery slope for them to try to navigate that. But yeah, I'm super excited, man. Any of you guys know at this point, like, I'm a Destiny fanatic, and so this is just good news for me. I'm super excited about it, and you guys should all go read the blog post if you follow Destiny. It's full of really good information. So moving on from that, Nintendo held a more or less a surprise Nintendo Direct conference. They announced a bunch of new games for the Switch. They had kind of like sent out like a mysterious tweet on January 10th, and nobody really knew what was going on. They just basically came out with a Nintendo Direct and announced all these new games. The one I am most excited for, the original Dark Souls, is getting remastered and is coming to the Switch. So you can die over and over again, like, on the go. You don't have to like sit at your couch. I am so excited. I will pick up another Switch just to be able to play Dark Souls, like, while I'm on the couch or while I'm in bed. You know, like, I'm gonna get a Switch anyways. But this was a huge deal to me. I know me and you started playing Dark Souls for like the same reason.
Yeah, no, for sure. For all of you who heard us before, but me and T-Rec87 actually ended up playing Dark Souls through a mutual friend who was D-Rock, and he introduced it. Well, him calling him up on the phone and saying, "Hey, you really need to play this game." So then he played it, and then D-Rock came over to my house with the game, and we were playing it. And I remember one of the first experiences I ever had with that game, because he kept telling me, you know, like, you're going to get really frustrated at this game. And I was just like, okay, you know, like, let's check it out. So I go to the first area within the first game with the bridge, and there's like a little crack underneath the bridge, and the giant dragon comes. And I'm going down underneath, and I had no idea. I hadn't played this game before. It's the very first time. I go down underneath the bridge to the crack, and I see the dragon's tail just like this, and I'm shooting the arrows, and then I kill the dragon just with arrows into its tail, and I get the crazy sword, and he just like lost his mind. He was like, "How did you do that?" Like, because I'd never played this game before. So it was just like somehow it just happened. And the funny thing about it is, I think, didn't he end up telling you about it?
He ended up telling me. So I was living in a different state at the time than these guys, and so basically one of the things we were doing just to keep in contact is basically we were like texting each other all the time. Obviously like calling each other, and he texted me to tell me like about. He's like, dude, you have to go back. You have to go get this sword. It's like crazy powerful. It'll really help you in the game. And so he ended up telling me about it, and then I didn't know he had gotten it from, he had learned it from you. But it was just one of those really fun games where like it helped us keep in contact while we were all, in separate places, or at least I was in a separate place. And it was such a good memory of just, like at the end of the day, like get a text from like, D-Rock or you or whatever, and just be like, how many times did you die today? Or like what part are you stuck on? And it is punishing as that game is, it is super fun, and it's a really good game. Anybody that plays Dark Souls, like, you just need to have a little bit of patience and be willing to learn and be willing to accept the fact that you're gonna die, at one point or another. And it's just kind of like, if you go in with the mentality like, yes, I'm gonna get stabbed, then it's a much better game, as opposed to like, getting frustrated every time you die. Just like kind of learn to accept it as part of the game. And it teaches you a lot to like analyze patterns and just all this stuff, and it's just a great game. So I can't speak highly enough about the Dark Souls series. Also though, moving on from that, they did announce quite a few other games, like the Hyrule Warriors Ultimate Edition. I don't know if you've seen much on Hyrule Warriors. Did you see it when it came out on the Wii or whatever?
It kind of reminded me of like Dynasty Warriors.
Right, that's exactly what it is.
With the overlay of Zelda, which I thought was amazing. I love Dynasty Warriors, so if you add anything with the Zelda characters, I thought it was a great overlay for that game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never really got the chance to play it, but this will hopefully, like when I get another Switch, this will be one of those games I pick up. So yeah, there's going to be the Hyrule Warriors is coming out spring of 2018. There's going to be an update to Super Mario Odyssey. Also, I believe, yes, February 2018, where basically it's going to be a continuation of the game, and you're going to continue your adventure in the world with the help of Luigi. I don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but Super Mario Odyssey has gotten great reviews, and knowing that there's going to be more content for it, I think is pretty cool too.
Yeah, so another really awesome thing that Nintendo did mention is they are coming out with a new Donkey Kong, and that is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. And the really cool thing that I thought about this is it definitely looks like an old school Donkey Kong game, except now they have a new Donkey Kong that they're introducing into this one called Funky Kong. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that character is going to be, so it's really exciting to see like what they're going to do with that. But also too, I love Donkey Kong. I remember Donkey Kong from like such a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
But I remember actually playing, you probably remember this, TRF87, when we used to play Donkey Kong.
Yeah, we used to totally play Donkey Konga back in the day, and I remember playing with like the little bongos.
Yeah, the bongos.
That was a lot of fun. Donkey Kong's always like one of those series that's really cartoony and just kind of fun and funny and pretty lighthearted, and so it's always good to have another game like that out there, and that'll be coming out May 4th. Another big one, and this is one that a lot of people, when this game came out, it wasn't like hugely popular, but it's kept its fan base like over the years, and it keeps growing and expanding, is Payday 2. And basically this game, to boil it down, it's like a bank heist game, and it's meant to be played with your friends. This game, actually, I have it on PC. It's actually, and I've only ever played alone, which playing alone is a much less fun experience because the AI is kind of stupid, but I can imagine like playing with your friends and going into these huge banks and planning out a heist, like what you're gonna do, what everybody needs to be doing. Is one of those games that, like, if you get a good group of friends together, can be like one of the funnest games you'll ever play. So that's also coming to the Switch February 27th. Mario plus Rabbids DLC is going to be coming spring 2018. There's actually quite a few games that they announced. I don't want to go over them all because some of these are a little bit niche games, I think. The only other one I saw that I think will be a really big deal is going to be Mario Tennis, and that's coming in spring 2018. I don't know if any of you guys ever played any of the other, like, the Mario Tennis games. Did you ever play Mario Tennis?
Yeah, I played Mario Tennis on the Wii.
Yeah.
When they originally brought it to the Wii with like Wii Sports and stuff like that, like I remember that. It was such a fun interactive game.
I've always loved Mario Tennis. Actually, my favorite, and a lot of you guys may not remember this, there's a Mega Man soccer game, is what I'm thinking of. It was like on like the Genesis or Super Nintendo, and you could pick different, like your team would be like just like a team of like Mega Man or a team of like, like different characters. And it was like, it was so much fun, but I love like the Mario Tennis. I love Mario Soccer. Any of the Mario sports games, I think, are just always super fun. What I'm waiting for, and I haven't seen anything about this yet, but I know it's going to happen sooner or later, is I haven't seen anything about like a Mario Party for the Switch. But and same thing with like Smash Brothers, is I haven't seen anything about that for the Switch either. But both those games are going to come eventually. I mean, they have to. There's no way they're not going to release a Smash Brothers and a Mario Party.
Well, they've released it on pretty much every console they've made since the beginning.
Mario Party is like one of those games that like ruins friendships. And I love that game so much, man. I remember back in the day, it was like the first couple Mario parties on the N64. Me and my buddy, there was this challenge with a Shy Guy, and you had to like wind him up to see how far you could get him to fly. And it was just like a challenge in the game, and I don't know what you earned from it or anything like that, but you had to rotate the N64 controller as fast as you could. And we figured out that if you did it with your palm, like held the controller and just used your palm and like rotated it super fast, you could get it to go way further. But if you remember the N64 joystick, like the top had like these ridges, and we both would have like just like these huge blisters in our palms from doing it so often, just to try to beat each other to get like the Shy Guy to fly farther. It's one of my favorite game series of all times. It's lighthearted, and it's one of those games that like at the flick of a switch, you can go from first place to last place, and you're just like so angry, but at the same time, when it happens when you're in last and you go to first, you're like so happy. It's a great series, so I know they're going to come out with something sooner or later, and I'm super excited for it.
I would say overall with that series, they definitely captured lightning in a bottle, like the same exact feeling of like Mario Kart. I mean, it's literally Mario Kart on steroids, honestly, because I mean it gives you that same feeling that you want to be first place, but you're also having, I mean, it's like what we were talking about with Double Dash, where you have the second and you're throwing the shells, and you had to work together with that, except this one it's like free for all. So I do remember the first couple ones, and I do remember the first one playing it where it was a little bit more simpler back then, but it still was really fun and challenging, trying to complete all the stuff to become number one. I remember particularly there was like this round platform, and you had to try to knock everybody else off the platform, while also collecting like coins and stuff like as things were falling.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was a fun game. I love that game.
Yeah, they're so fun. Anyway, I know that's not actually gaming news, and that's kind of like a off-topic type of thing, but I felt it was worth mentioning that I know these are going to come for the Switch eventually, and when they do, look out. If you get a Switch and you're playing online and you see T-Rec 87, it'll be no holds barred. Honestly, don't expect any mercy. So anyway, guys, that's it for today's gaming news. Stay tuned for, next week. There are going to be some really big games, I think anyways, for the end of the month of January coming out, and I'm going to be kind of going over those next week, because there's a couple in there that I think almost everybody could enjoy, or at least myself. I'm super excited for them. So those will be next week. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you again soon.
And always remember, stay awesome.
Who should hear it? Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit I already do. Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around.